Welcome back, ProITians. I hope you guys are doing good and learning at the right pace. Yeah. Before we start with our session today, let's touch base on the things that we have done till now. We started off with the basics of Python programming, where we ran through some PPTs. Then we actually touched base on installing Python and PyCharm on Windows and Linux machines. Yeah. Uh, in today's session, what we are going to do is we are going to look at the arithmetic operators, and we are going to talk about the operators, what are integers and what are floats, how things get worked out automatically at the back end on Python. Those are the things that we are going to work out. Those are the things that we are going to look at. Now, the idea behind going forward in these sessions are not to go through PPTs, because we are learning about programming, correct? And you can't learn programming just by reading books. The more you practice, the more you're going to learn. So what mode we are going to do is mode that we are going to use going forward is we will be doing the live sessions with the actual programs, and then we'll see how the theory part fits into it. So rest assured, we are not going to miss out any of the theory parts. We will be covering all of it, but we will be doing it via doing programs. Yeah, so that is how our future course of action is going to be. Yeah, I hope you guys will be enjoying that, and do leave me your feedback on how you feel about it. Okay, let's jump right in. Thank you. Welcome back to ProITians. So let's start with operators. So in this session we'll be talking about operators to start with, and for this session we are going to use IDLE, which actually is a Python shell which gets installed as part of installation of Python. So it's a default Python IDE. Yeah. So there are various operators in Python that is being used, such as arithmetic operators. That is what we are going to touch base today, and there are other types of operators such as assignment operators, logical operators, string operators, etc. So we are going to look all those sorts of operators in the coming sessions. Today we are going to look at arithmetic operators. Okay. So what are arithmetic operators, or what are the types of arithmetic operators? So the arithmetic operators, as you might have learned earlier in your school days, people who are still in school, for them also, like, you have those arithmetic symbols here, like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, all those sorts of operators. Yeah. In programming language, there are other two additional operators which we call as double division or modulus. So we are going to look at those operators in the coming example. As I informed earlier, we will not go with the theory as such. We are going to go with the example, and then we will be touching the theory. So that makes relatively easy to understand. Okay. So let's see how we are going to use arithmetic operators. So arithmetic operators are used for performing calculations in any programming language, be it Python, be it Java or C++, any programming language you would need arithmetic operators for performing calculations. So we will start by writing a simple program using arithmetic operators. During this process, we will touch base on data types such as integers and floats. Okay, so let me start with a small example. So, okay, let's say if we type 7 plus 5. I'm just putting, I'm not giving any other syntax, int and all those things, because some of the programming language you can't just go ahead and type like this. You will not be able to get the output. Before using those values, you'll have to first define what is like x is going to be, what y is going to be, and what data type is it going to be. Like, is it going to be integer, float, character, and all those things. Python is a very simple language. It's very simple to understand, and it's good for programmers as well as a person who's actually reading through the codes. So let's look at this example. 7 plus 5. I hit enter. I got the answer. It's 12. Yeah, works. Yeah. So I now let's look at the another example. In this example we have used 7 plus 5. Yeah. So what is let's break this part first before we move to the next example. So what is 7 and 5? 7 and 5 in programming language are called as operands. Operands. Yeah. And the symbol plus is called as operator. Yeah. So this is the first example that we are touching base on operator, and that is addition. So the addition symbol out here is called as operator. 7 and 5 are called as operands. Yeah. And 12 is the result. Okay. So in this example we gave the numbers 7 and 5, we did the summation of it, and we got the result as 12. Now let's take a second example. What happens when we do 7 minus 5? 2. Yeah. So it is working. Yeah. You can see that we gave operand 7, operand 5. We gave minus as an operator. That was a subtraction, and we got the result as 2. So it's working great. Now let's look at multiplication. Yeah. So 7 into 7 into 5. Okay. So 7 star is the sign for multiplication in programming language, and then 5. We got 35. So it's great. It's working. Great. Yeah. I hope you guys are following along, and also you can pause this video, try it out on your labs, and see if it's working or not. Though it's very I'm putting it in a very simple way so that anyone can learn programming. That's my motive. Yeah. Now 7 plus 5 we did, we got 12. 7 minus 5 we did, we got 2. 7 into 5 we did 35. We got all those answers. Yeah. Now let's look at the other operator, 7 divided by 5. Okay. Let's see the output. Oh, it's 1.4. Right. What happened? Okay. How come it got converted? Yeah. So now, as you can see, we were giving integer, yeah, as an input, and we were getting integer as an output. Now we're doing a touch base on another one of the data type, that is integer, right? So what is an integer? Integer is a whole number. Yeah. So as you can see in the example, we gave 7 integer 5, and we got the output integer 12. Same in subtraction, same we got in multiplication. But in division, it actually got into fraction. So it automatically got converted from integer input to a float output. Now what is float? So float is a number which will have a fraction. Okay, so it will be denoted with a whole number dot a fraction part of it. Yeah, that is called as float, right? So as we can see, this is what we got the output. But you would ask, okay, it could be because we gave a number which will definitely have a fraction. What if we give a number, say 4 divided by 2? we still got 2.0, right? I mean, we know that it is going to be, I mean, there is no fraction when we are dividing 4 divided by 2. So we know that there will not be any fraction in that, but still the number got converted to a floating number. Yeah. So that's the beauty of Python. Yeah. I'll take a moment here so that you can actually go through the things that we have done till now. Okay, so that's the beauty of Python. So Python understands that when we are doing a division symbol, when we are going to use a division symbol, there could be a possibility that you will get a fraction of a number. Yeah? So it understands that, and it automatically converts that number. I mean, it automatically converts into a floating number. Yeah, even if I would have given 4.0 divided by 2.0, I would have got the same output. Yeah, it's still a float. Yeah, input is float, and I got the output as float. Here, input was integer, I got the output as float. Yeah, so Python is smart. It understands, okay, whenever you're going to put in the key in or use the operator use a division operator, that means it will convert the output to a float. Yeah, so that's the beauty of it. Okay, now let's move to a next example. Okay, I mean, as we saw that it's actually coming to float, right? But you could have a requirement that you want your, you want the code or the programming language to return it in a integer value. You don't want to use it in a float value. Yeah, you always want the integer to return a float value. Okay, integer value. Okay, so how is that going to happen? So for that we have another trick. So for example, if I type 4 divide by 2, so it is called as 4 divide, or you can mention it as 4 double divide by 2. Okay, now let's look at the output. Great. So as you can see, this one is an integer value, it's not a float, correct? While the other one, I mean 4 divided by 2, it was a float. But here, when we are giving a double division symbol or double division operator, Python actually uses only integer, only the integer value. Float value is dropped. Okay, I made a statement, float value will be dropped. Can we cross check this if the float value is going to be dropped? Let's look out. So let's give an example, 7 divide by 5. So with this, what should be my output? Should it be 1? Should it be 1.4? Okay, let's see. So as you can see, the output is 1. Whereas in the earlier example, when we use 7 divide by 5, it was 1.4. So when we are using 7 divide by 5, the output is 1. What happens to 0.4? 0.4 is dropped. Okay. So that's how you can use to make sure that the output is only integer. Okay. So also I wanted to show you one more thing. Okay, you have to be sure that I wanted to inform you one more thing is that the output will not be rounded off. What I mean to say is, for example, when I'm going to put as 20 divide by, okay, let's try with 20 divided by 3. What is the output? 6.67. Yeah. So if we round off this number, it will convert to 7, right? But if I do 20 divide by 3, what happens? Will it be 6 or will it be 7? So the output is 6. So this is what actually meant, that the number will not be rounded off. Only the fraction part is dropped. Yeah. So it will only, the output will only be with the integer. Okay. The float part will be dropped, or the fraction part will be dropped. Okay. I hope you guys are getting along, and I feel it's the simplest form of teaching on what are the integers, what are floats, instead of going through the theory part, like, okay, this is integer, this is float, this is operator, all those things, right? I mean, that would actually, when humans do things in a practical way, they learn very fast. So that is the objective of these sort of sessions, because I want to make sure you guys are learning programming in faster and easier way. Okay, right. So now let's look at one more example. 3 plus 6 into 9 minus 6. What do you think, what will happen? Is it going to be 3 plus 6, 9, 9 into 9, 81, 81 minus 6, 75, or something else? Yeah, let's look out. Oh, it's 51. How did we got this number? Okay, I'll tell you. So we have actually used Python uses a principle called as board mass. Okay, so what happens is it actually has an algorithm. Okay, so the algorithm says is whatever is there in the bracket will be executed first. Okay, then whatever is there in the exponential format, okay, like 3 raised to the power of 2, that will be at the next level. Then in that particular statement, if whatever is with division, D is for division, then that will be executed next, post which M is for multiplication, post which is multiplication, then addition, and then subtraction. So if we use this algorithm, are we getting the right output? Okay, let's look at it. So in this we have a plus operator, a multiplication operator, and a subtraction operator. Yeah. So as for board mass algorithm, it should first start with multiplication, right? So we have 6 into 9. What is the value? 54, right? And then the next one is addition. So 54 plus 3 is 57, and 57 minus 6 is 51. So we got the right output. Yeah, right. So if we want to alter this, we could have done bracket 3 plus 6 bracket close into 9 minus 6. So what would happen in this example, guys? Let's again, take the example of let's use the board mass algorithm. Okay, so it's going to be 3 plus 6 that will be executed first, because that is in the bracket. Once that is done, then our next thing is multiplication. Yeah, and we don't have an addition outside of the bracket, so its next will be minus operator. Okay, so let's look at this. Yeah, so 3 plus 6 is 9, correct? 9 into 9 is 81. 81 minus 6 is 75. Okay, let's look. Great. So we got 75 as an output. Great. Yeah. So I hope you guys are getting along, and now that another concept of board mass might be clear. I'll type it again for the benefit of all. This is what is the term or algorithm used in Python. Okay, I also want to touch base on one more thing. So, for example, if I want to share this code with you guys, right? If I type board mass, right, which I want to give it to you, how can I give that information to you? If I type it and hit enter, I'll get an error, correct? But if I type it, yeah, if I type it again, and I still want to give it to you without throwing an error, so what is the way? So what I do is I comment it, okay? Then I can type it, okay? Now if I hit enter, I don't get an error because by putting hash in front of that, I've commented it. So Python knows it that this is just for the humans to read it. It has nothing to do with the programming, so it will skip that part. Okay. So this is one more term which I've addressed in this session. That is, how do we comment a code or line of the code or whatever. I mean, if you want to give an example and you want to make others understand what actually that piece of code means or what it is going to do. So on this you can type algorithm and all those things you can type and give it back to a user who can understand it. Okay. So before we end our session, let's look at one more example. Okay, let me try with 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. What is this I'm doing, guys? So I'm multiplying 2 4 times. Okay, and what will be the output? 16, right? Yeah. But isn't it a bit cumbersome to write in this way? What could be the easier way? Yeah. So this is also called as an exponential way of using the multiplication sign, right? We are using 2 into 4, 2 4 times, to multiplying 2 for the 4 times. So it's 2 raised to the power of 4, right? So can we do this way? 2 multiplication 4. Is it possible? Will it work? Let's try out. Yes, it works. Yeah. So that is how you can use the exponential format, wherein you can put in multiple signature times, 2 times, and that's how it will work. Yeah. Great. So with this we have with 2 multiplication 4, we have actually achieved the same thing, like 2 raised to the power of 4, or simply put 2 exponent of 4. Yeah. So I hope you guys are enjoying till now. Right now, let's take a look for another operator. Yeah. In the earlier example, let me type it out again. We saw this 7 divided by 2, right? And we got only the integer part of it. The float was it was 7 divided by 4, but nevertheless we can still use 7 divided by 2, and we got the integer part of it. But if I do 7 divided by 2, it is actually going to get converted to 7, that is 3.5. Now what if I want to find a remainder of this? Yeah. Now we have one which is the integer part of it, right? And the fraction part of it is dropped. The other way is if I want to have the remainder value of this particular equation. How can I get this? Well, there is a easy way. 7 modulus 2. Okay, so 7 divided by 2 is 3.5, of course, and 7 modulus. So this percentage sign, as in programming language, it is used for modulus. So that's how you got 1. Yeah. Okay. So think we have covered quite enough for today, right? We will be touch basing on the other sets of operators in the next session. Please do leave me a comment if you're enjoying the way I'm teaching in this session, instead of going through the theory part and then actually coming back to the practicals, or the reverse way. I'm actually touching base on, I mean, I'm starting with the practicals, and accordingly I'm actually using introducing a terms in a theoretical way. Yeah. All right, guys. I think we're good for now. Um, so I hope you guys are enjoying, and I hope you guys are learning at the right pace. Programming, you have to keep on practicing. So you remember, guys, whatever we are learning, you have to practice on your levels. You have to try it out various things. I mean, out here we have only tried some part of it, but you can actually try it out in other way also. Yeah. So I leave it to you for doing more experiments at your end. For now, I would say take care, and we will see you next time. Till until then, keep watching and keep learning. Thank you.